Hi guys, it's Abadran catching you again. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I thought to share with you all how I create my eyelet piece. I've gone ahead to cut out 4 pieces I'll be needing, and then 2 for the lining, 2 for the main fabric. So I'm going to be only working on the lining. After cutting out your lining, infuse it with hairstay or whatever you use. So then on the lining, I'm going to be marking on both sides of each piece. I'm going to be marking half an inch for the joining, and then on the top part of the eyelet piece I'm going to be leaving half an inch. That is going to work for the lining. That is when you want to turn the lining, so I'm going to be leaving half an inch on the top part. So now just watch closely how I do this. I'm going to be placing my regilling bone in after leaving half an inch. If you look closely, you will see where I marked half an inch on both sides. So then put your regilling bone in, three regilling bone in on the center of each piece of your lining. So just watch closely how I do mine, and I guess this is something that will, just by watching it, you understand what I'm doing. And let me also add that this method eliminates folding at the back of your corset. You know, when you see some corsets that folds at the back, when you do this exact way I'm doing it, it will eliminate folding. I mean, there are other methods that could eliminate folding, don't get me wrong, but yeah, this is the method that works for me. This is the one I use, and trust me, it makes it so strong. And it also make your waist snatched, not just the folding, also makes your the waist snatching, or the whatever snatching you made at the waist, to be very effective. So after successfully sewing the boning on the piece, you see how it's looking bulky. So make sure to iron it properly. Make sure to iron it flat properly. And remember, you're doing this on the two piece, that is on the lining, on the both lining of the eyelet piece. After ironing it, you can see how beautiful it's looking. It's already laid flat. Then we'll move to the next process. So you can see, if you look close, you can see a notch I made. That notch indicates where will be placed at the other piece of the dress, the other pieces that was cut together. So that place is the waist part that will be joining, that will be facing the waist. So now I'm just figuring out how to turn it, because at this point it can be complicated if you don't know what you're doing. So make sure that what you do to the other one is what you do to the other one. So at the end of the day, when you turn it, they both face um the way they are supposed to be faced, so right? What you need to do at this point now is to place the lining on the main fabric. You can see me sewing it on that half an inch I left earlier on. So you're leaving the half an inch on the lining and the main fabric for your turning, right? So now after stitching the top parts, go down, stitch straight down. Look at what I'm doing. Just stitch straight down to conceal one side only of the fabric you place together, because you're going to use the other side to turn it over. So after stitching, make sure to trim it properly. The half an inch you previously left before attaching the boning, make sure to trim it properly so it can lay flat when you flip it over. At this point, make sure to bring out the edges properly, and after that, make sure to iron it properly to lay flat. So this is what I meant when I said make sure to be careful when you're sewing the lining on the main fabric, so as when you're done sewing, they can position to direct opposite ways, and that means you're on track. So now moving forward, I'm going to, after ironing it flat, you can see how beautiful it's looking. Moving forward, I'm going to be marking half an inch in 3 places on the eyelet piece. Now I'm going to be doing this on the right side, not on the wrong side of the fabric. It's going to be on the main fabric now. So I'm going to like mark half an inch from the top to the bottom. So this is where my boning will be sitting, and where my eyelets piercing will be taking place. So just look closely and see how I do it. I'm just going to be running 3 stitches down. That's on the 3 lines I made. I'm going to be running, making a stitch on those lines from the top to the bottom of. So you can see how beautiful our eyelet piece is looking. Go ahead to do the same thing on the other eyelet piece. Do the 3 lines and also run the lines from top to down. This is what the two-piece looks like. After running the stitches down, you can see how beautiful it's looking. At this point, you can go ahead and iron it to make it lay flat also. And then there's one other thing to do before we come to an end of this video. What to do is to get your plastic sewing boning, trim the tip, trim it very well so it can enable it to enter properly. Trim the tip. Now we made 3 lines, right? So now one line The first line, that is the place that you flipped over, the place that has closing, you're going to be inserting two boning. This is the method I use. That side that has a stitched edge. So I'm going to be inserting two boning on this side, and then I'm going to be leaving the center line. The center line is where my eyelet piercing will be taking place. And then the last line I made, I'm going to be inserting only one boning to it. So that's it basically. If you find this video helpful, please do share it. And if you have any question, please drop at the comment section. And another tip here, guys, is that before you insert this boning, make sure to iron it flat. You can see that I didn't iron mine, that's why it's bulky. But even if you didn't iron it at this point, all you need to do is to place a cloth on it and iron properly so it can lay flat. And that's it basically. Here's how I attach my eyelet piece to my main fabric. So the lining facing the eyelet piece facing the lining, or the lining facing the eyelet piece. Now you can see how I'm doing it. Make sure to open up one part. That's the lining part of the eyelet piece. Is what you are going to sew on the fabric, on the main fabric. Remember, the fabric and the lining are together, so you're sewing it together like that, right? And then after sewing it, make sure to trim the excesses very, very well. If you don't trim it, it will disturb you when you're turning it. So as you see me holding it together this way, that is how you're going to run the stitches down to the bottom. After running the stitches, then trim it properly. After trimming, you will now flip it over. Now you're making sure that the right side of the fabric will face the right side of the fabric. That is where you will now fold it in and stitch on the main fabric. So this is how I simply attach my eyelet piece, and it makes it look beautiful and very. When I tie my ribbon, snatches my waist the way I want it. After you've deducted what you need to deduct on your waist too, so make sure you snatch your waist properly to get the best effect. We've come to the end of this video, guys. Look at how beautiful the eyelet is sitting. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share to people who would also find it helpful. Bye bye.